kind of high-tech rock or metal kind of style, I mean, it's a lot of it's extremely physical, so it's important, you know, if you aspire to play those types of things, you know, your technique has got to be at a certain level.
Hi, I'm Matt Marvoglio, Dean of the Professional Performance Division at Berklee College of Music. Welcome to When Music Works. Today, our lesson and topic for discussion is chop building from the shredding guitarist's perspective. Our featured artist and teacher is Joe Stump. Joe Stump is an incredible rock guitarist and an assistant professor in the guitar department. In the lesson today, you will learn how to work with a metronome to increase your speed. You will learn some scales and riffs to develop your solos, and also get some great practice tips. Let's get started and see what Joe has to offer. Hey Joe, welcome. Good to see you.
You too.
So the lesson today is a chop building lesson in how to get your chops together playing some rock guitar.
Yes, yes. Just some basic metronome skills, some tremolo picking stuff. I have this one double picking etude, and a couple small like exercisey type things that are great to throw in your routine to start working on your hands.
Is this for all different styles of rock playing, or is it specific to one area?
Well, I mean, the way I play it and the way that things are set up, it's obviously more, you know, hard rock and metal and shred tinge, whatever you want to call it. But I mean, practicing intervallic things within scales and like using the metronome and working your working that kind of stuff into a practice routine and applying that kind of discipline is that's great for players of all styles. Players of all styles do that. I mean jazz players and fusion players end up playing wider intervallic things as opposed to rock players that are usually working with closer intervals.
Mm-hmm. And I think everybody should work with a metronome, huh?
Yes, yes, yes.
I guess a lot of people own them but never really take them out.
Exactly. You know, the first step is like, well, do you own one? Do you ever turn it on? I mean, you know, my students at Berklee, they'll be working on classical pieces or etudes of mine or whatever, and I'm like, that sounds great. Now let's try it with the click. Oh, I didn't practice that with the metronome. Mm-hmm. Don't you hear the metronome going in my room when you hear me practicing constantly? So, you know.
Sure.
Metronome use important.
And what about the setup? When you're practicing, I know you're practicing with a metronome and you're practicing with a sound that seems very similar to what you would play in performance.
Yeah, exactly. I mean when I'm firing up live, I have the the walls of Marshall stacks and the and the whole 9 yards and everything. But obviously, it's important to have a good tone when you're practicing, and it's extremely important to because obviously that's going to inspire you to practice. If you have a awful guitar tone, you're not really it's not going to be conducive to wanting to play.
Right.
And then obviously one big element of rock guitar is developing the tone and the sound under your hands. So if you're you really want to practice with as close to a tone as you would be performing with.
Great. And before we get started, what do you think we need to know to really get the most out of this lesson? Is there certain scales or?
A lot of the stuff is very self-explanatory. I mean, just quick, I can just kind of run through the, a little primer of the scales used in hard rock and metal. I mean, obviously, the main one I use is the natural minor scale, which is just the pentatonic scale plus a couple extra notes.
Sure.
I mean, here's A minor pentatonic. And the natural minor, you're just adding, a couple extra notes to that. And then another one would be the harmonic minor scale, which is that same scale just with the raised 7th tone, and that's got more of a classical sound, a little bit more evil, darker sounding.
I feel more evil and darker already.
Exactly. Exactly. Just the sound of the scale conjures up all kinds of...
So in this chop building, it's really based upon not so much the harmonic theory of things or whatever, but really getting your hands together,
yeah, it's more of a physical thing because, playing in the style that I play, and any kind of high-tech rock or metal kind of style. I mean, a lot of it's extremely physical, so it's important, if you aspire to play those types of things, your technique has got to be at a certain level. And there's enough things where, like, some players that are just starting out are going to be able to get something out of it. It's not, like, too far over their head. And the more advanced players will be able to latch onto the stuff, because even though some of it might be pretty simple, I'm playing at a pretty burning tempo. Right. So I tried to make it a bit more general, so I wasn't alienating either advanced players or lower level guys.
And like the harmonic minor scale, you were saying it sounds more classical. It also sounds like a lot of the rock influences are very classical, like in violinists.
Yeah. Oh yeah, exactly. I mean the whole shredding thing and that whole style of hard rock guitar really stemmed from started back in the 70s and early 80s when European players like Ritchie Blackmore, obviously with Deep Purple and Rainbow, and then Michael Schenker, Gary Moore, Uli John Roth, and then Yngwie Malmsteen came around in 1983 or whatever, and then took it to a whole nother level. And tons of other players have been using the influences of classical composers like Bach and Paganini, Vivaldi, Mozart, Beethoven, all different. And other players take things for even more contemporary periods. So there's a huge vocabulary of things out there. So
I mean, some of the speeds that you're playing at too are quite fast. Do you ever think of fastening yourself in with a seatbelt or anything like that?
Exactly. Exactly. That's why I wear all this jewelry on my hand. So I can actually, if I take it all off, I'm going to play so fast that actually human beings won't be able to hear the pitches.
So that actually holds you back.
Exactly. Only dogs and like certain kinds of birds and stuff.
Well, great. I'm looking forward to it. Well, let's get started.
All right. Cool. Today I'm going to talk about some things that I use in my playing, chop building stuff, some cool arpeggio stuff, some alternate and economy picking for the right hand, maybe a few Baroque things, and a whole bunch of other stuff. So let's get started, shall we? All right, so one of the keys to working on one's technique, chops, hands, is the metronome. One thing you got to know how to do is subdivide the beat with the metronome, which is very easy. All you have to have is basic math skills, meaning like I got the metronome clicking at 120 now, and just quarter notes with the metronome. That's one beat for each beat, one note for each beat of the metronome. So that's very, very, very easy. And I'm going to do that inside the A minor scale right here, the guitar-friendly key of A minor. And that's just one note per each beat of the metronome, very, very easy quarter notes. Now I'm going to play the scale in eighths. That's two notes per each beat of the metronome. Very easy, eighth notes, A minor scale in eighths. Okay, and now I'm going to play the A minor scale. I'm going to change up the fingering, play three notes on each string. Now I'm going to play triplets, three notes per each beat of the metronome. Triplets. And last, 16ths, that's right, four, you guessed it, four notes per each beat of the metronome. So there we had quarters, eighths, triplets, and sixteenths. So I know this is real basic and painful for some of you more advanced players, but for those of you that have never used the metronome before, helpful, beneficial, easy, right? All right, so the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to tremolo pick each note in the A minor scale 4 times in sixteenths, and this is a really easy way to develop your right hand and pick up and down. Starting on a down, down, up, so when you go to the next note or the next string cross, you're starting on a down again. So very easy way to unconsciously alternate pick. Plus, another thing that's cool to do is you take a key, tonality, area of the guitar that you are a little unfamiliar with, those of you that have this down already, and you can use it to reinforce new knowledge of newly learned scale fingering or working in a key that you're a little bit more unfamiliar with. So A minor here, banging on each note 4 times in sixteenths. Painfully easy, but I'm going to do it at like 170, so you know, so I don't fall asleep. Cool. So there it is in sixteenths, and just so you guys can hear what it sounds like at a little bit slower tempo. I mean, the object is just to play at whatever speed you can play it cleanly at, nice and even. Slower tempo, just... Now here's another cool tremolo picking bit where I'm going to play each note in the scale 4 times again, tremolo picking in sixteenths. But in this case, I'm going to take the guitar-friendly key of E minor, and I'm going to tremolo pick all the way up the E minor scale on one string, banging on each note 4 times. Go all the way down my B string, banging on each note 4 times. You guessed it, up the G, down the D. So I'm going to be playing just about every note on the neck in the key of E minor. And so that's a lot of tremolo picking, a lot of 16ths. I mean, this is a cool thing to loosen up your right hand, learn the neck better. Like I said before, I mean, I wouldn't lock myself away and do nothing but tremolo pick for hours a day. You know, you could get suicidal at some point, but this is a cool bit. And I mean, those of you that have this stuff down, do it in a key that you play in quite frequently, but a little bit less familiar with. I picked E minor because guitar-friendly key. Cool. And there it is. Alright, so next technique I'm going to talk about is double picking, double noting. And what that is I'm playing each note in the scale 2 times in 16ths. And I'm going to just do it within the scale first, and then I'll play a couple cool exercises, and then I'll play our very first etude that I'm going to play, which is a double picking etude, which is a favorite bit of mine, an excerpt from a track. Double noting, double picking, like I said, 2 notes at a time in 16ths. You find that in classical music. The Bach's Brandenburg Concerto, that's got some double noting in it. The Bandiera, a bunch of Bach pieces, and some other classical composers use the double noting. And as well as some of the old school European traditional hard rock guitar masters, the guys that really influenced me. One of my favorite guys is Gary Moore. Irish guitar player who was more of a hard rock guitar player, metal guitar player in the 80s, and now he's more of a blues guy, but tremendous player, great tone, great technique, great vibe, great feel, so, you know, and a big influence on me, and he uses technique quite a bit. But started out just doing it within the A minor scale. Now if I was playing eighths within the A minor scale, it'd just be, you know, which, you know, you can do, but the double picking is going to be 2 notes at a time, but in 16ths. And let's just write up A minor, but you can, you know, I'm using A minor because it's a very common key in hard rock and metal, shred, whatever you want to call that nonsense, and also very also it's a key relative to C major, a key that everybody, scale and key that everybody should know. If you don't know it, now you know it. Once again, slow with the A minor fingering, but you can finger the scale many different ways, you know. Like that, or, you know, playing the B up here. You know, 3 notes per string. But like I said, I'll use, as far as the minor scale, harmonic minor scale, whatever scales I'm using, depending on the lick, sequence, pattern, idea I'm playing or whatever, I'll use different scale fingerings. That's why it's great to learn different scale fingerings. Not because, you know, to pay the bills or like some guy that's ripping you off for lessons, but because it helps you learn the instrument better, helps you learn the neck better. Also, certain licks, certain ideas, certain passages are conducive to certain types of left-hand shapes, left-hand fingerings. But anyway, back to the double picking biz. And you guys heard that already, you know. Like that. And now I'm going to take this little E harmonic minor passage, which is cool, and I'm going to double pick it. First of all, play the passage slow. It's that, and that's just a combination of a couple diatonic scale patterns. Diatonic scale patterns meaning diatonic meaning within the scale, and a pattern meaning I'm just playing a combination of a couple different patterns, just moving up the scale with a 3-note pickup, 4 notes at a time. And then going down in thirds. And even without the double picking, that's a cool little passage to play. Once again, only one string crossing, Bob, so it's really easy and sounds cool too. Now I'm going to double pick that same passage, so now I'm going to be banging on each note 2 times in 16ths. You know, like that, but obviously twice as fast. That was 8ths. Sound like this. Cool, so there's another cool bit to practice. Once again, all easy stuff, easy stuff. Now we'll get to the first a little bit more complicated thing I'm going to play. Now this is a double picking etude that I've composed, and I'm going to blow through it slow and explain it, and then I'll play it, you know, at speed. First of all, the chords: D minor, B flat major, C major, and now the climb is going to be A major, B flat major, C major, and A with C sharp in the bass, a chord that no younger guys seem to know for any reason. I play this chord in like some of my master classes, lessons, labs, and they say, what chord is that, you know? And all it is obviously triad. You got 3 notes in the triad, hence the term tri, right? And different notes in the triad can take turns being in the bass, and in this case you got the 3rd in the bass, so it gives you, you know, a little bit of different sound. There's the little A major triad, and there's the C sharp in the bass. Once again, very easy. Another easy way to play it. There's the A major at the nut, like that. And just so you guys get an idea what the groove is like behind this double picking etude, sounds like this. A fierce Euro metal groove. So that's what the chords are doing. And now we'll get to the etude. And maybe later on I'll break that chord thing down, because I'm playing, you know, playing the chords and playing some cool 16th note fills. So if you're interested in that, I'll break that down slow for you guys. All right, cool. So the first thing, now what I'm doing here with the double picking bit is I'm outlining the chords. And so this is also cool. First of all, it's great for your right hand, outlining these triadic shapes that you know, so help you learn the triads good on the neck. So it starts like this very slowly. It's like that, and there's my D minor triad, and then I'm just, excuse me, adding that in there, then I go to B flat major, B flat triad, then C major, same thing, two frets higher, and then the climb is A major, C major, and then C sharp diminished, and I'm using the C sharp diminished over the A with C sharp in the bass. Very cool sound, but theoretically works really nice because the C sharp diminished is almost the same as an A dominant 7th chord. But I don't want to get into the deep theory end of it. We're talking more about just technique in building up your chops. So that little bit in time fast sounds like this. Then it continues. Now next time through, D minor, triad right there. So I'm going. And then B flat major. And then C major right there. Then I'm doing a little sweep thing, A major, B flat major, C major, C sharp diminished. Alright, so those first two set, and then so you get the D minor triad there, B flat major triad there, C major triad there, and then the climb. And the picking pattern on the sweep, we'll have a whole arpeggio section of this bit, but just for now, the picking pattern on the sweep is down, 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 up, pull, up, up. Very standard way to play that sweep. Down, 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 up, pull, up, up. And for each shape. First two sections sound like this. Cool. Now the last section, chord sequence once again. Now I'm up here in fifth position, D minor triad. B flat major. C major. Then the climb. So there's the A right there. B flat major. Just part of that chord. C major. Just part of that chord. And then that C sharp diminished again. And that section fast sounds like this. You can see, fierce metals. But great for your right hand. Cool because you're picking up and down. Another reason this is a fun thing to play, and another reason I started with it, is because you don't have to kill yourself. You know, those of you guys that are just getting into some of these things, and your right hand isn't all that developed yet, you can still play it. It sounds cool, and you don't have to kill yourself technically. Maybe not to play it at, you know, the speed I'm playing it at, 160, but you know, still sounds very cool at a slower tempo as well. So the whole bit. All right, cool. Now I'm gonna play a track for you. This is the first track off the Supersonic Shred Machine album, and I know you all have that one. So you're gonna be familiar with this track, "The Lovely Demon's Eye." This is the first track on the record, and when I play this, I'm gonna combine a bunch of those techniques we talked about earlier in the bit. So listen for them. You'll hear them. That and a host of other things, I'm sure. So check it out. Thanks. See ya. Hope you enjoyed it. I did. Cool.
Well, Joe, that's quite impressive. That's a quite impressive lesson. So how long did it take you to get that kind of technique, working with the metronome? Because there's a lot of push and pull. There's a lot of expression to it.
Well, I mean, I still, to play in this style, you have to, you really have to love to practice, because it requires a huge amount of maintenance. It's like a guy that's a great athlete. He can't all of a sudden decide, he's going to go to McDonald's and, eat 6 Big Macs and wash it down with some tequila, and then he's going to play a game on Sunday in the NFL. It's constant upkeep as far as, always practicing, always working on my hands. So, I mean, I've been practicing quite a bit since I was young, and continue to practice anywhere between 3, 5, 6 hours a day. And
that's a lot of time.
Is
there any issues, like tendonitis issues? I mean, it seems like you're playing very loose, very light. So
yeah, well, I mean, one of the things that a lot of younger players tend to do is if they're playing something that's challenging, they'll tend to tense up. And so obviously, when you're tensing up, if you're tensing up this hand, how efficient can you be?
Right.
So tensing up leads to hand problems. The other thing with tensing up is it's a matter of energy versus efficiency. If you have your motion nice and economized when you're playing, then you have your motion, you're using a lot less energy. Where the more motion, less energy, the lower your endurance is going to be.
And the more you hurt yourself.
Yeah, and then you're opening yourself up to possible injury and all that kind of stuff.
But as we were saying before, it's quite apparent that the influences, I mean, I'm hearing like Paganini licks, from like the different caprices or similar things to that, and even Brandenburg sequences. And
yeah, no, I played a lot of that stuff, and I actually just started. I played a lot of that stuff when I was younger, and I'll play violin pieces now, just because I compose and write everything, for my various recordings myself, and then you kind of get out of the vibe of playing something that was composed by somebody else. Where some of my stuff is very technically demanding, it's still, since I composed it, it's different than actually playing, a piece of Bach's or a piece of Paganini's or whatever. And I take excerpts from those things and put them in my tunes.
Could you just play a couple of excerpts for us? I mean, I'd like to hear like a Paganini thing on this. Sure.
Like that's just from that's just a little bit from 24, when they get the
right.
Like a little bit of 5 or whatever.
Just a little bit of 5.
A little
good
bit.
Old number 7.
Number 7. Yeah, I mean they're so hard. Like I played like on my new or my newest record. I actually played starts out with a 6-minute guitar solo, and some of that's actually at the top of the video where I'm playing the cadenza by myself. But I play like a portion of 5, and it's just and even just a small portion of it, and I'm playing it a tad, like Itzhak Perlman's probably playing it close to 170, or Elliot Fisk, and I'm playing it like probably in the 150s in this the midst of the track, and it's it's so hard, and I'm only playing an excerpt of it, like I said.
Yeah, that's great. Any other tips about practicing or anything before we set out?
Well, one good piece of advice, gem of wisdom for everybody, is I mean, obviously rock guitar is all about just picking the thing up and vibing out and rocking out, and so you want to have some of your practice routine like freed up like that, where it's not not like you're getting hit on the knuckles with a ruler or whatever, but if you also want to mix it with some of the discipline type things that we talked about today. So if you can kind of balance the two, works out really nicely. Not just like it's great to jam along with CDs or lift solos by your favorite players, or put on a groove and just start playing, or compose things or whatever, and just sit there, vibe out and rock out, work on your tone or whatever. But it's also it's also important to have a disciplined approach to practice, working with the metronome, all those types of things.
That's great advice. Well, thank you very much. It was a great lesson.
All right, cool.
Take care.
All right.